So what is going on, guys? Nandaprince93 here with another video, and I just finally finished up my desk setup pretty much exactly how I want it, minus the M1 MacBook Air, which I'll put in there once I get it. But I did want to show you guys how I set up my desk and why it's set up that way to make sure I'm as productive as possible and as least distracted as possible as well, guys. But let's hop right into it and I'll show you guys exactly what's on my desk, including the desk. Let's go. So the first thing that you guys obviously saw in the beginning of the video was the desk itself. So I'm using a smart desk by the company called Autonomous. I've had it since actually the very beginning of the channel. If you guys look at my older videos, you guys have seen that this desk has actually been around for a very long time and I love it. This is the first smart desk that I've ever owned, that I've ever had, and I can never ever go back. I don't stand as much as I would like to, but just having the option is awesome, right? And obviously with most smart desks, you get those 4 preloaded memory buttons, so you can kind of set 4 different heights. So I have number 1 and number 2 set for sitting and standing, and then you have 2 more for whatever you want to do. You know, maybe if you have a stool or if you share with somebody else and they want to put theirs in, that's also an option for you. So that's a smart desk by Autonomous, and it's honestly very sturdy, and it has a premium feel for the price of not a crazy premium price point, right? You're not spending thousands of dollars on this desk. You're still spending around $500 to $700 on a really premium, long-lasting desk, guys. So highly recommend getting a standing desk. And then I'm also going to link another company called FlexiSpot, which makes smart desks also, but a lot cheaper. And yes, they sacrifice a little bit in the types of materials they use, but for a standing desk, it still works. And my brother has one. He spent, I think, a little less than $300 on it, and it still works fine. So it's kind of finding exactly what works for you, what's in your price range, and, you know, figuring out what the best option for you is. So now I want to go from right to left, right? So let's start over here. So the first thing I have right there is actually the iPad Pro. That one is a 2018 256 gigabyte in silver with no data, right? So I've had that iPad for over a year now, and as you guys know, I love my freaking iPad, but it's standing on the Magic Keyboard from Apple, and then also I have the new Pitaka case on it, which is actually really cool, and I love how they were able to engineer a case that's so thin that protects your iPad inside of that Magic Keyboard case. So that's my end-all be-all. You know, you guys know how much I love my iPad Pro. It comes with me everywhere, and it always sits on my desk right there. And behind that, I just have a little stand that actually came part of a whole starter vlog kit that I ordered from Joby about 6 months ago, and I actually use a lot of it, right? So that's just a little tripod mount. I also mount my microphone on there that came with the starter kit. It also comes with, an extender for a mini tripod and then a handheld mode. So I'm going to link the entire tripod kit below, or the starter vlogging kit below, because I think it's a good option to start off, especially for only $100, and it's a great gift for those people looking to start their YouTube journey or any sort of vlogging journey come 2021. And then if we continue on, I have my little RJ plan, which everybody has to have, so shout out to my man RJ. And then if we continue, you guys can see my monitor, right? So this is an LG Ultrawide 29-inch. I'll put the exact model number down below, but I got this one for actually $180 at Sam's Club. I've told you guys multiple times, do not sleep on those wholesale stores. Sam's Club, Costco, BJ. Those are all stores that have an electronics section with great value products. So I went in looking for a specific monitor. They didn't actually have it. So then I ended up going with this one. It's a little bit on the shorter side than what I would really like, but I've gotten used to it, and I've never had an ultra-wide monitor, so having this much screen real estate, from a wide perspective is absolutely awesome. And like I said, for $180, it's really hard to beat, guys. And also, with those department stores, you get 3 months return policy, which is something very rare, because I know that Apple only has 14 days, Best Buy has 28 days. So with this one, at day 89, I could have returned it and exchanged it for a new one or for something new. So those are all things that I look at when I'm actually purchasing, not just for the item, but the store holistically, right? And then it's sitting on top of a stand that I got from Etsy, actually. I'll link that store below, but it did take about 2 months for me to actually get that stand. And in their defense, it was from Germany, and also I did order it like prime COVID time, so I'm not gonna hold anything against them, but it did take a little while to get to me, but I finally did get it, and honestly it fits perfectly, as you guys can see, with that stand from LG. And then underneath the monitor and underneath the stand, I have 2 things, right? So actually, the first thing that you see is that lamp, right? So underneath it, I have the actual controls for the lamp, and then it kind of arcs behind the actual monitor itself, and then I have it standing over. So it's kind of the perfect height. This light has been with me for a while. It's super cool, very bright, can move in all these different angles and directions and heights and lengths, because I highly recommend getting a lamp that's this versatile, because you're going to be using it for a lot more than just lighting your desk. And then actually next to that is probably the newest thing that I have for the desk, and that is the Stone 2 by Bridge. It's a Thunderbolt 3 hub, and yes, it doesn't have the most amount of ports, but it's been the most reliable hub that I've had to date. You know, zero issues, no finicking. Normally, sometimes when I go with one of those cheaper USB-C hubs and you kind of like knock the cable by accident, everything disconnects and then you have to unplug it, plug it back in. This, I can move my laptop around, I hit the cable, and nothing ever happens, whether it's from the Thunderbolt 3 cable or the HDMI. But like I said, it has 3 USB-A ports, HDMI, Ethernet, and then USB-C pass-through, and then a USB-C to connect to your laptop. So it's got all the ports you would need for a single output, and for me it's perfect because I don't plan on getting a second monitor, and if I really need a second monitor, I can just sidecar this guy and just throw, you know, some extra stuff on this screen, which is why I have it set up that way. So that item from Bridge actually really impressed me. It's going to stay there for a really long time. I like how ergonomic it is. It's pretty versatile because you can see that it's sloped down because it's actually meant to kind of sit underneath your MacBook Air or underneath your MacBook and kind of lift it up and give you a little bit of an angle. So that's kind of how it's meant to be used, but I just use it as a hub also, and it's been working great, and it fits perfectly right underneath there, and it kind of hides away in there. And then attached to that, you can see that on one of the USB-A ports, I have a tri-dongle. So basically USB-A, and then it gives you the option to do micro USB, Lightning, or USB-C, and I just have that as an emergency, mostly for my MX mouse because of the fact that it charges via micro USB. And speaking of the MX Anywhere S2, that is the mouse of my choice. I want to get my hands on the S3 because it does have a USB-C now, so I'm on the market to get that one. But if you guys are looking for a mouse, look no further than the MX Anywhere S2 or S3. Right? Yes, there's the MX Master 3, which is super nice. My brother actually has it, but it's a little more expensive, and not a lot of people want to spend that much money on a mouse. So this one has been awesome. I've had it for over a year. Highly recommend. It goes in my most recommended products. And then to the left of it, I have my Satechi keyboard, built for Macs, which I absolutely love, powered by USB-C. You can connect it up to 3 different options. Same with the MX mouse, honestly. So I use the MX mouse for both the iPad Pro and my computer, and then the keyboard just for the computer because I have the Magic Keyboard right there for the iPad Pro. But that is my mouse and keyboard combo, and I've been loving it so far. I do have the regular Apple keyboard, but I actually tend to go to the Satechi one because I just like how it feels. I like the keys a little bit better, and I like how it's actually stood up a little bit more, gives you an angle to really type out and get going. And then those are both sitting on a Satechi leather mat, which is, you guys know, I've been liking my leather goods lately, and that is freaking awesome. And I love the color too, this like dark blue navy color. Really nice, gives you that premium feel. And then if we continue going along, we actually have my charging hub. So this one, I have 2 different charging hubs, one that lives on my nightstand and one that lives on my desk. This one on my desk is by a company called Pitaka, and this one's called the Air Quad. So as you guys can see in the name, it charges 4 different devices, and I usually throw my AirPods on there. I usually throw my AirPods Pro on there, my backup phone, and then my Apple Watch whenever it needs to get charged up, right? So you can see that I have a lightning cable that's kind of propped up on the back, and then you can also lay down a phone and charge it wirelessly, right? So you can charge up to 4 different devices, no matter the case. And I know Pitaka now has their Air Omni, which can now charge 6 devices, right? And not only that, but that lightning cable that's kind of sticking out, it interchanges to USB-C. You can decide whether you want to charge an iPad or an iPhone with the actual physical cable, and then I think it brings 2 extra USB-A ports, so you can plug in 2 more cables and charge 6 things at the same time. So highly recommend getting some sort of hub like this, because you can easily charge all of your Apple devices or even your Samsung devices if that's the way you go, and kind of do it all in one go very easily, and it's kind of right in your face, so you never have to lose a notification, or you know how much your AirPods are charging, and when they're done, it notifies you with the beauty of iOS and iPadOS 14. And then the final thing that we have is my MacBook Air. So this is the i5 version, 512 gigabyte. I'm actually going to get rid of that in the next week for the M1 MacBook Air, and I'm going to be doing a whole series comparing the two, comparing the M1 to the iPad Pro, comparing professional corporate applications on the M1 to see how they run, even though they're not optimized for the M1 chip. So definitely stay tuned if you guys want to find out more about that, especially if you guys are interested in that Microsoft series that I did with the iPad Pro, because we got more coming for the M1 MacBook. But this one's the regular i5 MacBook Air from 2020, so I still paid $1,200-$1,300 for this computer, which saddens me because now I'm about to get a computer for $900 that's supposedly 10 times better. But I digress. But it's sitting on a Satechi stand. I used to not have that Satechi stand. I used to actually keep the MacBook open, but I kind of like this clean, minimalistic look. Only have one screen that I have visible. The only thing that's a little bit annoying is that now I have to get used to not using the fingerprint scanner when it's closed up like that. So somebody please release a keyboard with a built-in fingerprint scanner that I can use with macOS. That would be awesome. Apple, please do that. And then also the fact that it's closed means I can't use that potato cam which I don't have as you can see, I don't have a secondary camera, so I usually, whenever I have to do conference calls or FaceTimes or Zoom meetings, that's where the iPad comes in. And that's what I use mostly whenever I have to interact with people from a video chat perspective. So that kind of solves my problem of closing the MacBook and keeping everything nice and clean, right? So that's pretty much everything on my desk. And then I have my coffee that always sits with me no matter what, guys. But that's pretty much going to do for this video. That is my desk setup from beginning to end. Like I said, I wanted to be as efficient, as productive, as minimal, and as distractless as possible, right? Because the more things that you have on your desk, the more you want to grab stuff, the more you want to play with stuff, the more you want to tinker with things, move stuff around. So I wanted to keep everything clean, keep everything with one screen, everything at my fingertips, and everything with a purpose. Hopefully this helps you guys with some ideas on what to purchase your loved ones or your kids or anything like that for Christmas, because a lot of this stuff is under that $100 price point, which fits perfectly. Obviously the computer isn't, the iPad isn't, but a lot of the other stuff really is. And I think the vlogger set for anybody that really wants to get going is a great purchase to get going and get started, guys. But like I said, that's gonna do for this video. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and enjoy your holidays. Peace.